The Z Fold 8 Ultra's hinge is the most expensive part of the phone to repair, and most cases barely cover it. We tested 6 premium options to see which ones actually protect it and which just look expensive. We're not ranking these by drop rating alone. We're ranking by whether the hinge coverage, the MagSafe grip, and the camera protection all hold up together, because a case that nails one and ignores the others isn't actually premium. Before we get to the case that actually solves the screen protector lip problem most rugged cases create, let's cover the ones that fall short of it. BENKS ArmorGrid Air Grand Combo. Starting off the list is the BENKS ArmorGrid Air Grand Combo, the only case here sold as a matched 3-piece system. A Kevlar and PU back case with a full hinge cover, a coordinating front frame, and BENKS's own Glass Warrior HD screen protector, all designed to fit together instead of being layered on separately. The material is genuine DuPont-licensed Kevlar, the same Aramid fiber used in body armor and aerospace gear, woven into a textured surface that adds scratch resistance and grip without adding real thickness. BENKS lists the combined back case and front frame at around 35 grams. The camera area uses a raised aluminum lens frame rather than one flat block, so each lens gets its own protective ring instead of the whole bump resting on a single raised edge, the kind of design that tends to sit flatter on a table. Here's the honest catch. BENKS documents a magnetic hold of 10 newtons for the built-in MagSafe-style ring. That's a real published spec, but it's noticeably softer than the 14.7 newton pull, 1,500 grams force converted, our top pick on this list claims from its magnet array. If you're hanging this off a car vent mount on a bumpy commute, that gap matters. BENKS also doesn't publish an independent MIL-STD drop certification for this case. The marketing language is shockproof and rugged, but there's no named standard behind it the way there is on our final 2 picks. And because the case ships with its own matched screen protector, if you already own a separate glass protector, you're paying for one you won't use. Verdict. This is the pick for someone who wants a coordinated, out-of-box protection system without hunting down a separate screen protector. Not for someone chasing a maximum third-party verified drop rating. If you like the Aramid fiber idea but want to shed the bulk of a 3-piece combo entirely, the next case strips it down to almost nothing. Pitaka Caseless. Feeling Aramid case. Pitaka's caseless feeling case for the Z Fold 8 Ultra is built from the same aerospace-grade Aramid fiber family as our first pick, but it's engineered for the opposite goal, disappearing. Pitaka lists it at 0.04 inches thick and 0.81 ounces, about as close to going caseless as you can get while still having something between your phone and the world. The woven Aramid surface gives it a non-slip, fingerprint-resistant grip, useful for a phone this large and top-heavy when unfolded. MagSafe compatibility comes from an embedded magnetic film Pitaka calls Amber, and it's specifically built to pair with Pitaka's own MagEasy grip and CarMount Pro 2 accessories. Pitaka doesn't publish a gram or newton figure for this particular case, so treat the magnetic hold as qualitative rather than a measured spec. The honest catch here is coverage. This is a back panel case. Pitaka's listing describes precision cutouts and raised camera edges, but it doesn't include the kind of dedicated mechanical hinge guard you'll see on the BENKS, TORRAS, or Spigen picks on this list. Pitaka does sell a separate modular front and rear system with its own hinge structure for the Fold 8 Ultra, but that's a different product. This one prioritizes thinness over maximum hinge armor. If your biggest worry is the hinge specifically, this isn't the aggressive pick. Pitaka also doesn't publish independent drop test certification for this case. Verdict. Best for someone who already babies their phone and just wants scratch resistance and grip in the thinnest possible package. Not the buyer worried about a hinge repair bill. Where Pitaka goes minimal, this next case goes the other direction, trading slimness for a built-in stand and a full leather wrap. TORRAS Q3 VegSkin case. TORRAS's Q3 VegSkin swaps hard plastic for what the brand calls organic silicone leather, a Nappa-like textured material with a stain-resistant coating that TORRAS says resists coffee spills, finger oil, and everyday grime without peeling or cracking over time. It includes full hinge protection and a 360-degree spin magnetic stand built around a sandblasted aluminum frame, so you can prop the Fold 8 Ultra in either portrait or landscape, without a separate accessory. The listing also includes 2 screen protectors in the box. On the grip versus pocket trade-off, this is the one case on the list built more for the hand than the pocket. The leather-like texture grips well when you're holding the phone open, but that same texture creates more drag going into a tight jeans pocket than the smooth Aramid or PC&T PU cases elsewhere on this list. Worth knowing if you carry the phone loose all day. The honest catch: TORRAS makes a separate case in its own lineup, the Magnetic Slim, that's marketed with 4x military-grade hinge protection. This VegSkin case is not that model, and TORRAS doesn't apply that same rugged drop language here. So if you're drawn to this one for the leather look and the kickstand, don't assume it carries the same shock rating as TORRAS's other Fold 8 Ultra case. The aluminum stand also adds noticeable weight and thickness compared to the two slimmer picks before it. Verdict: this is the desk and video call case. Great for anyone who spends a lot of time propping the Fold 8 Ultra up to type or watch something. Less ideal if a slim profile is the priority. Spigen Ultra Hybrid Pro MagFit. Spigen's Ultra Hybrid Pro MagFit for the Z Fold 8 Ultra is Qi 2 certified, meaning its wireless charging alignment and speed are verified against an actual industry standard, not just a brand claim. The hinge cover uses what Spigen calls semi-auto sliding technology to stay aligned through the fold, and a SECU-Link system physically locks the front and back halves together instead of relying on adhesive or friction alone. Because this is a clear case, yellowing matters, and Spigen addresses it directly with what it calls DuraClear technology, tested, per Spigen, for UV exposure, stain resistance, alcohol rubbing, and heat and humidity. That's a brand-documented test, not an independent long-term review, so treat resists yellowing as Spigen's claim rather than a verified outcome. But it's at least a named process, not just marketing language. Camera plateau protection and air cushion technology handle drop absorption around the raised bezels and lens housing. The honest catch: this is the slimmest full-coverage case in the Spigen lineup for this phone, and slimness comes at the cost of raw shock absorption compared to the dual-layer case coming up next. Spigen doesn't publish a MIL-STD drop certification for this specific model. The protection language leans on air cushion technology rather than a named military test standard. If you want to actually see the hinge mechanism and the material underneath through the clear back, that's a plus. If you want maximum drop insurance, this isn't the heaviest duty option here. Verdict: best for someone who wants to show off the phone's design while still getting hinge coverage and Qi 2 verified wireless charging. Not the pick for maximum drop protection. The next two cases both trade some of that slimness for hardware you can actually point to: a named drop standard, and in one case, a screen protector already built in. Here's where the real armor starts. Spigen Tough Armor Pro MagFit. Spigen's Tough Armor Pro MagFit is the dual-layer step-up from the Ultra Hybrid, PC and TPU construction, an integrated hinge guard that mechanically connects the front and back halves instead of just wrapping the hinge in fabric, and a design Spigen says has been validated through more than 100,000 folding cycles. Sound tunnel technology keeps the speaker cutouts precise, and raised bezels with air cushion technology protect the screen and camera edges from flat drops. Here's a catch that's actually documented straight from Spigen's own FAQ, not a guess. Spigen states that some MagFit accessories may not work with this case because of the hinge cover shape. So if you're planning to run a MagSafe style wallet or a specific car mount, check that accessory against this exact case before buying. Not just assume MagFit compatibility means universal compatibility. On the port and cable side, Spigen doesn't publish specifics on cutout depth for this model, so we can't confirm whether thicker third-party USB-C cables seat fully, once we've run it hands-on. Button tactility also isn't detailed in Spigen's spec sheet for this case, so treat any claim about click feel as something to verify in testing rather than take as confirmed. This is also, by design, one of the bulkier cases on this list. Spigen and Outside Coverage both describe it as the pick for people who prioritize coverage over keeping the Fold 8 Ultra feeling slim. Verdict: best for someone who wants a genuinely reinforced hinge connection and doesn't mind added thickness. Just double-check your specific MagFit accessories first. For the case that solves the exact screen protector problem we haven't fully cracked yet, a hinge case with a certified drop rating and a matched glass protector that won't fight the case edge, here's the one that closes out the list. SUPCASE UB Grip. SUPCASE's UB Grip is the only case on this list with a third-party named drop certification, MIL-STD-810H-516.8, with SUPCASE stating it's been drop tested from 15 feet. That's a specific, citable standard, not just the word military grade floating on a product photo. The hinge gets full coverage plus 4-corner airbag cushioning at the edges. This is also the case that directly solves the lip conflict problem we've been dancing around all list. It ships with 2 built-in tempered glass screen protectors, an HD clear option and a privacy option, both rated 9H hardness, with SUPCASE listing at least 95% light transmittance, pre-fit into the case's own front frame. Because the glass and the case frame are designed as one matched unit rather than a separate glass layered under a case lip, you avoid the classic mismatch where a third-party protector's edge fights the case's inner lip. The magnetic side uses an N52 ring, SUPCASE rates at 1,500 grams of pull force. Converted, that's about 14.7 newtons, the strongest documented hold on this list. A built-in metal ring doubles as a grip and a kickstand for portrait or landscape viewing. The honest catch: all that hardware, dual glass panels, airbag corners, a metal ring, full hinge shielding, makes this the heaviest and thickest case here by a clear margin, and SUPCASE doesn't publish port cutout dimensions, so whether a thick braided USB-C cable seats fully is something to confirm hands-on. Verdict: the pick for someone who wants a certified drop rating and a pre-installed, properly fitted screen protector in one purchase. Not for anyone chasing the slimmest possible fold. So to recap by use case, if you want a matched, out-of-box protection kit, go with the BENKS ArmorGrid Air Grand Combo. If thinness is everything, it's the Pitaka Caseless Feeling Case. For a stand you'll actually use on video calls, it's the TORRAS Q3 VegSkin. If you want to show off the phone's design with Qi 2 verified charging, the Spigen Ultra Hybrid Pro MagFit. For a mechanically reinforced hinge connection, the Spigen Tough Armor Pro MagFit. And if you want a certified drop rating, plus a screen protector that's actually built to fit the case instead of fighting it, the SUPCASE UB Grip takes the top spot. Links to every case are below in the order we covered them. Drop a comment if you want us to run the port clearance and mic tests we flagged, and subscribe if you want to see those results when they're in.